Hello and welcome to part 2. We're going to be getting right onto that mission we started in the last part, that is, destroying the reploid disposal facility. Let's go! Now, a little unique thing about this game, in contrast to the previous entries in the series, and indeed the rest of the Zero series, the Resistance base actually functions as a bit of a hub in this game's world, and unlike other games, the Megaman series, each area isn't isolated, like they're all interconnected and you can actually walk to them, like that ladder back there you might have seen, actually leads to a subway area we'll be seeing later. And to get here you just go up and right from the Resistance base. It's really unique and it doesn't come back into the ZX series. That thing actually blows way to the left. Now this guy is a Pantheon flyer. You've been seeing other versions of Pantheons, including the Hunter models, the ones with guns, and the Guardian models, the ones with electric clubs. They're basically the big recurring moves in this series, and yeah, you'll be seeing a lot of them. These regenerating towers are actually really good for building weapon levels, like kill them over and over and stuff. Speaking of which, here's our first one. See Saber skill up? We can now perform a double slash. Very convenient for cutting down those things. So now we can do combo moves. By the way, that thing to the right, ignore it. Because of time constraints, I have to skip some of the things in the levels, and I've already done that, actually. The ones in boxes, the Cyber-Elves that is, stay in the stages, unlike these guys, which only appear during the mission. So later on we'll be coming back and getting all the ones we missed. And we're finally at the Disposal Center. In case you haven't picked up on it, these are boss doors. And this guy is Aztec Falcon. He, unlike the golems from earlier, is actually a reploid, a sentient machine. This guy is actually a Mutos reploid, which means he was specially designed to protect humans, and his specific function is serving as an executioner for Mavericks. Mavericks in this game have actually changed definition from the X series. Rather than being people infected by the Sigma virus, they're more just people Neo Arcadia has labeled as harmful to humans, and they can do that to whoever they want. So now we gotta kill this guy before the timer runs out, otherwise those guys get crushed by spikes. Not a very nice fate. That move, where he pounds the ground and sends electricity up, is actually something called an EX skill. Like, each boss has a skill, other than the golem, that they only use if you have an A or an S rank. And seeing as I have an S rank right now, he uses that move. I guess it's there to make the game a bit harder. Unfortunately, you can't gain those moves, classic Mega Man style. Oh, one more thing. When you land the final hit on a boss, if you use the Z-Saber or another cutting weapon, they actually get cut in half or divided by 0. Yeah, not funny, but whatever. And we saved them, and he's got the jitters. Those two guys on the right are pretty weird. I don't know if they're reploids or what. They never really talk, except for one point where I'll be pointing out later. And this is pretty much their only appearance in the game. No other character with those models ever appear again in any of the games in the Zero series, actually. And for beating Aztec Falcon, we get the Thunder Chip. That's basically the replacement for all the specialized weapons from the old Mega Man series. Rather than, having an arsenal of different weapons for situations that bosses are weak to, we rather get 3 elemental chips. Thunder, Ice, and Fire. Fire is weak to Thunder, Ice is weak to Fire, and Thunder is weak to Ice. And, yeah, you use those against bosses with those alignments to do extra damage, or, less damage, if you really want to go that way. Some of them are even immune. Anyway, that's the end of the first mission, and that's actually going to be the only mission I put into this part. But what's that, you say? There's still 5 minutes of footage left? Yes, well, that's because I'm actually going to be going back in time. Before that, though, we get the Escape Unit. This has actually shown up in previous games in the series. It basically lets you quit a mission in the middle of it, but it also results in you, being judged as having failed that mission. I don't usually use it, ever, but I'm fairly certain if you use it, you actually skip that mission. I'm not positive on that, just, don't hold me to it. Anyway, what you might not know is I actually did a jump cut there. And this is actually taking place before the fight with Aztec Falcon in the first mission, because their dialogue changes depending on where in the story you are. So here's the, Resistance dialogue. I'll be putting these at the end of parts in case you actually want to know what the characters are like. because there are actually quite a few characters in this game, and they're not really of any importance, but they all have their own unique names and personalities. Like, she is Alouette. Recurring theme in this series of games are theme naming, I guess. A lot of the characters have French names, like Ciel means sky in French. Alouette means songbird, I think, maybe lark. I'm not positive on this. But first, gotta carefully steal that E-crystal from their stores and then escape. Normally I won't be commentating over these, by the way. I'm just doing it for the first part to help introduce these characters. Alouette back there is actually kind of important, unlike most of the other characters, because she actually, it's basically assumed that she's a character named Prairie in the ZX series, who's rather important. She kind of serves as CL in the ZX series. Anyway, just putting that out there. No importance to this series, of course. And these guys are placed around the different areas to basically prevent you from going to places you aren't supposed to yet. Like, not so you can't see the levels beforehand. Very clever, Insurmountable waist-high fence. And here's the tram server. We can use this to go back to any other tram server we've seen, and most areas actually have one nearby, so we can go very quickly to those areas, rather than having to walk all the way across the hub worlds every time. We'll be activating various ones throughout the game. And it's also the place that you upgrade Cyber Elves at and use Cyber Elves at. See, some Cyber Elves, as you'll be seeing later, are actually, instant use. You can use them the moment you get them, as long as you upload them to your body, I guess. You can only have 3 uploaded at a time. Like, those are the ones that restore a little bit of your HP, or like recover you from a pit. I'll be showing the menu later. But other ones actually require the usage of energy crystals, those little green pickups, to evolve. Otherwise you can't use them. And those are the more powerful ones, like the ones that increase your max HP, or the ones that increase your running speed. The permanent effect ones. And that too I will be showing off later. That guy's old Andrew, you'll come to hate him. He likes to give long lectures for prizes. After giving you pop quizzes on said lectures, he's a dick. Lots of information being pumped into a small area. These seemingly empty rooms will be used later, by the way. Pretty run down, but I suppose it's fitting they just took the closest place they could find. Now here's one of the more important characters in the game. This guy's name is Servo. I think that's how you pronounce it. And I believe it means brains in French. And it's kind of a double pun, since he's the main engineer of the Resistance Force, and Servo kind of sounds like machinery, like the component used in machines. So important. He will later be giving us different kinds of weapons and teaching us about the level up system and stuff. And apparently, if we, if we kill enough enemies, we can level our C-Saber and other weapons up, but we already knew that. This is the only game where his visor is transparent, by the way. Just putting that out there. And here's the other annoying guy, in addition to Andrew. His name is Hibbo, I believe. I'm sure I'm completely butchering the pronunciation there, but he's a fat ass. And he really wants your energy crystals, otherwise he won't move out of the way. So I'm gonna shoot him. He's blocking the way to a Cyber Elf over there. So once we get enough, we can give them to him and get him to move his butt out of the way. And that's the Resistance base for you. But one more thing. And that's what happens if you suck. See you next time.